I imagine you're looking at my title screen now. You might be thinking, what in the world is this woman going to be talking about today? True confessions of an ex. What? From revenge to repentance to revelation. What on earth did this woman do in her former life? I certainly hope that I have piqued your curiosity. You see, fellow Toastmasters, many years ago, while I was in college on and off, and even for 4 months after I obtained a master's degree, I was a telemarketer. I was a telemarketer. Yes, I was that harassing voice that interrupted you during the dinner hour, anytime between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. That was my voice. That was my voice interrupting perhaps your quiet, intimate family conversation. I was a voice that invaded the inner sanctity of your private space that you call home. Now, you may think there are certain experiences in this life that certainly are not worth rehashing. Then again, there are some events that are worth repeating, especially if they resemble something like a sitcom, something like Everyone Loves Raymond, or something from Seinfeld. Therefore, fellow Toastmasters, I present to you this morning Confessions of an Ex-Telemarketer. 3 tales of revenge, repentance and redemption, and revelation. But first, let me say at the outset that if you are a telemarketer, you cannot possess any sort of ego. All pride, all presumption, all personas must flee, because you will be treated like a flea the minute you get on the phone and start talking to the unsuspecting American public. For my first episode, Revenge, let me first describe to you my workspace. I worked in the upper floor of an office building after everyone had left. I was all by myself most of the evening for 5 hours. The room itself was very surrealistic. It was a medium-sized office with absolutely no windows, no paintings, no photos, nothing colorful or descriptive on the walls or anywhere. There was nothing but a huge oversized desk and a chair, a big fat paper telephone directory, i.e. phone book, an old-fashioned heavy black rotary phone, and me. I was given a script. I was instructed to turn to letter A of the telephone directory and start working my way down all the last names that began with A, all the way up and down the rows every night for 5 hours a night, 4 days a week, so that I could call these hapless people and arrange for one of our, actually I was an appointment center, arrange for one of our sales reps to stop by their home to give them their sales pitch for their asphalt pavement concrete company so that they could talk them into remodeling their back deck or patio or driveway. Revenge. For this particular evening, I had been on the phone for at least 3 hours. It was this time of year, right around the holidays. The people were extra grouchy. There were a lot of hang-ups on me, that is, that evening. Lots of rejection. My nerves were frayed. I picked up the phone, and this time a woman answered who sounded angry from the start. Hi, this is Ann from Rich Rock Marketing. How are you? Fine. What do you need? This is a wonderful time of year to be thinking about how you might want to be remodeling your back deck or patio. And I'm just wondering, we have a sales rep coming in your area either Tuesday or Thursday. Which would work better for you, 6:30? I'm not interested, ma'am. I'm not interested. And instead of hanging up on me, which most people did, she just kept arguing with me. Well, I wasn't going to hang up. I was a well-trained telemarketer. My job is to overcome a huge list of objections. Basically, I would keep talking until A, they hung up on me, or B, I set up an appointment. I was doing my job. I just kept talking, saying, well, but you might want to. Finally, there was silence on the other end of the phone. I had no idea what was going on. Then I heard the sound of an angry man on the other end. Apparently, this man had ripped the receiver from his wife's hands. He got on the phone and he said, now you listen to me. My wife is tired. My wife is weary. My wife has had a long, hard day. She's a school teacher, and she doesn't need someone like you selling us what we don't want. We don't want anything that you're selling, and we don't want you calling back. Here, click. Well, something clicked inside of me at that moment when he said that. Actually, something snapped temporarily. I thought, that's not right. That man had no right to scream at me. It was one thing if she hung up on me. No right did that husband have to get on the phone and scream at me. I'm calling those people back, and I'm giving them a piece of my mind. I didn't know what I was going to say. Now, just to allay any fears, when we say revenge, I don't mean anything pathological, immoral, shady, disreputable, or anything that would bring dishonor to what would be my future Toastmasters family. I'm talking about revenge within the context of a very burdened, frazzled telemarketer. Anyone who knows Ann Simerlink even a little bit knows that she is a very conscientious person. So this is a conscientious, beaten down telemarketer's revenge. I called the number back. I was extremely angry at this point on the rotary phone. The same woman answered, hello? And I detected a slight note of, shall we say, apprehension when she answered. Hello, she said again. And I thought, no, that's not apprehension, that's fear. She said again, hello. And I thought, this is interesting. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to see where this goes. She clearly, maybe she thought it was me calling back. I have no idea. But she kept saying, hello, hello. Finally, when she reached the apex of her fear, let me say, I let her go on because her tone of voice, it's like the call took on this Alfred Hitchcock quality, like a movie where someone is, oh, who's there, anticipating the worst serial killer to be on the other end, when in fact it was just me, a wretched little telemarketer. And I remember thinking, ma'am, why are you doing this to yourself? You have all the power here. I'm making minimum wage, working all by myself. Everyone's left the building except the janitor. You can hang up on me at any time. Finally, when I felt she was tormented enough, I interrupted and I said, ma'am, and I could tell that she recognized my voice. She said, yes. What is it? What do you want? What do you want? And I said, ma'am, you have a Merry Christmas, click. And I slammed down the phone. I must say, I surprised myself and I did feel better. Take 2, episode 2, repentance and redemption. While I was working for the same company, Richmark Marketing, perhaps a few months later, I was making my usual round of calls. I had been on the phone for at least 2 hours, lots of hang-ups, lots of people saying, no. But this time, a different type of person picked up the phone on the other end. Dare I say friendly? It was a woman with a somewhat muffled voice. Hello. I said, hi, ma'am. This is Ann from Richmark Marketing. How are you this evening? She said, oh, I'm fine, honey. How are you? And I remember saying, I'm fine. I remember being astonished, thinking, the world is so resplendent with cruelty. Why is anyone being nice to a telemarketer asking me how I'm feeling? I proceeded to go through my spiel and saying, this is a great time of year to think about how you might want to remodel your back deck, etc. She kept listening and saying, well, honey, I don't know. I don't know. And I kept talking because that's my job, to keep going until we get an appointment set up. Finally, she said, honey, hold on. I got to put the phone down. Don't go away. I got a chicken boiling on the stove. I got to check it. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. And I said, okay, I'll be right here. And I remember thinking, such graciousness. I mean, she was talking to me like I was a friend, like, hey, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. She came back to the phone. I kept going at it with my little spiel. And she kept saying, oh, I don't know. Finally, she said, honey, I got to go now. I absolutely got to go. And I said, but ma'am, what about the appointment? We have to set up an appointment. There's going to be a sales rep coming by. Can't we just set up an appointment? And she said, honey, I've got to go. The chicken is now boiling over on the stove. I got to go. And once again, something inside of me snapped. And I said, by this time I was about to not really cry, but I was upset. And I said, well, then why did you let me talk all this time? Why did you let me go on and on and on? If you knew you weren't going to set up an appointment with me, I don't think that's right. Click. And I hung up on her. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I was so mean to that lady. She wasn't mean to me. She was actually quite nice. She just didn't want one of her sales reps to come into her home. I thought, I feel terrible. I thought, I need to call that lady back. I need to apologize. I called back. The same lady answered with a friendly voice. Hello? And I said, ma'am? Yes, honey. It's like she recognized my voice. I said, ma'am, I just want you to know, this is Ann. I'm the telemarketer that called you a few minutes ago, and I just want you to know that I feel really bad how I treated you, and I just want you to know that I'm really sorry. And she said, oh, I am too, honey. I am too. And her voice just trailed off in the distance like a mother cow. I'm sorry too. And I remember thinking, this is amazing. This is unprecedented. How often does someone apologize to a telemarketer? This is unbelievable. I don't think she set up an appointment, but it was really a moment of repentance and redemption for a telemarketer. Episode 3, Revelation. While I was working at Richmark Marketing, I also had another telemarketing position at a company that, well, let's just say that it was my job to set up appointments once again, so that one of our sales reps could come to someone's home and sell them some burial plots for a nearby cemetery. Yes. I believe the company was called something like Heritage Estates. I don't remember. I was given a rather elegant script, resplendent with vague words to avoid the words of death, burial, dying, etc. I actually did a pretty good job setting up appointments for people. On this particular instance, a gentleman answered. Hello. I said, hi, sir. This is Ann from Heritage Estates. How are you? I'm fine. I said, great. I forget exactly what I said, but I said something like, we'd love to see if one of our sales reps can come to your home to talk about your future planning needs. And he somehow understood that it was a cemetery. Then he interrupted and said, where is that cemetery? And I actually didn't know. So I said, hang on, sir. And I said to someone in the office, where is the cemetery? What's the address? This guy wants to know. Yes, sir. That's on 6375 Springfield Pike. Springfield Pike? Is that at the corner of Springfield Pike and Den Line Road? I said, 1 second, sir. Is that on the corner of Springfield Pike and Den Line Road? Yes, sir, it is. That's right at the corner of Springfield Pike and Den Line Road. Which evening would be suitable for your schedule for someone to stop by? And he said, ma'am, have you ever been to that cemetery? Have you? I said, no, sir. Why? he said. Why, it's all covered with weeds and thorns and bramble bushes and briars. Why, I wouldn't bury my dead dog there. I wouldn't bury my dead dog. And I remember thinking, I'm not sure what I said, but I think I said something like, oh, well then, so would you like to set up an appointment? And I believe he said, I might never bury anybody there. Click. Now, you may be wondering, what was the revelation for episode 3? The revelation for me is that I really should have researched the job a little bit more thoroughly before I took it. To conclude, fellow Toastmasters, as you probably know, the telemarketer species is now largely extinct. We have been replaced by a mutant gene known as the robocall. I hope that brings you some sense of comfort, some sort of peace, to know that this holiday season, you will most likely not be harassed during your dinner hour by a pesky little voice such that Ann Simerlink possesses. No one will be interrupting your private, intimate conversations with family. No one should be invading the inner sanctity of your resplendent home. That assurance, for now, is my holiday gift to each of you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests,